Good morning, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be about the 2024 KLR 650 hill climbing ability. I'm still sporting the stock tires. They've got a little more than 1,000 miles on them. So we're going to see how the stock tires hook up in this loose sand, dirt, and rock to make it to the top of this hill. So I stated before, I didn't bring my GoPro, so you guys won't be able to ride along with me. And if I can find a spot to sit down and get an angle on this thing, I will. But otherwise, I'll be seeing you at the top. And I just want to share my morning view with you guys. This is a beautiful area of Colorado. All right, let's give it a shot. Okay, so to traverse an obstacle like this, steep hill climb, sandy conditions, rocks, baby heads as we call them, littered along the trail. The key to something like this is smooth throttle, and this is where the KLR comes in handy with that smooth 40 horsepower and about the same torque. Just even throttle all the way to the top. We're going to pick a line, avoiding rollers, big baby head rocks and those kind of things. You just kind of meander on up the hill. I'll probably take it in first gear the whole way just to make it easy. Put this thing in easy mode. That's what the KLR is about, to get you out and make it an easy, affordable adventure. Let's see how we do. All right, guys, we made it up to the first ledge. Let's walk over and I'll give you an idea of how steep this hill actually is. Look at that view. Sorry if I'm rattling the camera around. So we were down there. I don't know if the camera does it justice. And we made the climb all the way to the top. So when I talk about baby heads, this is what I am talking about. Rocks like that. See the size of that thing? And notice how they're not stuck in the ground. So you hit that with your tire and it'll roll out from underneath you. You can see there's a big boy down there. And I'm actually gonna go down and pitch that out of the trail because that's not safe for anyone. So, you see families come through here with quads and four-wheelers, and in my time out in the woods, I've seen a lot of people roll quads. This trail's not so bad, but some of the other areas I'll show you in other videos, it's off kilter, as I say. It's uneven and it's easy to dip one side, and if you're bringing a loaded quad through something like that, they just roll right over, man. And I've seen it, with kids on it. But this area is not so bad. It's just got these big rocks in here we have to be careful of. Check out that morning view. So right down there in the RV park, that's where Mrs. High is in the camper. She's still napping. And then we also have a little further to go. So as you can see, we got a little further climb. Keeps climbing up. So I'm gonna clear these rocks and we'll move on up the trail. Okay, so I cleared out some of those larger rocks just because when I come back down, I want to make the ride a little easier. And I'm standing straight up so you get an idea how steep this is. Just hiking up this sucker right here, man. It's very steep, sandy, and I'm traversing it just fine on the KLR with stock tires with 1,000 miles of wear on them. They're doing pretty good. Smooth throttle. That is the name of the game. All right, let's get to it. All right, guys. So we are pretty much towards the top of the mesa now. Something else I noticed, you know, with that hard aluminum Tusk bash plate, skid plate, man, when I'm kicking rocks, even with the front wheel, this loose type of terrain, man, that stuff is bonging off of that skid plate. And it really makes a sound, you know. So that tells me it's probably good to have that protection, even if you're not stepping off of shelves and those kind of things. Let's walk out and take a look. I'm also keeping an eye out for rattlesnakes. They might want to come out and warm up in this warm morning sun. So this gives you an idea, the type of terrain that we're running through. Beautiful, beautiful. It's one of the wonders of Colorado. We have aspen forests and pine. Then we also have high desert, a lot of high desert in Colorado. Sorry if I have a little bit of shake to it. Let's walk over and take a look. So this one had a corner to it. You can't see as well. Maybe down there in one switchback, but I'm not walking all the way down there. So, but yeah, as you can see, it's rocky, and you can also see there's like some solid rock exposed down there. And that's my favorite. That's nature's asphalt is what that is. That makes a real smooth transition. It's the roly-poly stuff that you gotta watch out for. Don't want to wash your front wheel out. All right, let's go see what the rest of the trail has to offer. Just wanted to cut in with a quick shot to show. Here it is after 4th of July in Colorado, and there is still snow in the mountains. If you climb high enough, you can still get in the snow. Gotta love it. Okay, we're kind of at the peak of the mesa here, so I'm gonna jump off and do a little pan around. There's those snowy peaks. It's probably 14ers. I'm gonna try to smoothly pan around. So you get an idea. Look at that little tree. That's a happy tree. So let's take a look. So you can kind of see the road or trail transcends back down into this bowl. So I'm just up here taking in the views. I'll decide if I want to head down and kind of follow that out. Sorry for the shake. Just give you an idea what affordable adventure looks like. Beautiful country, high desert country. All right, guys, I am starting to feel the heat as it's getting warmer already this morning. And I do have water and I have been hydrating, but I'm feeling a little fatigued. I've been riding a lot this week. So since I have some technical trail to get back down, I'm going to go ahead and start heading that way. And then at the bottom, we'll talk about descending hills. But, you know, a lot of stuff like this, it can be intimidating to people. And rightly so. I mean, this is definitely can be a dangerous sport. So you want to be able to ride to your skill, okay? You know, start out easy. When I taught my kids how to ride, I started them in a field, you know, with grass, you know, and they just were doing like power walks and stuff like that, you know, to get used to riding and controlling the bike. So I just want to make that point, you know. Hoping folks are enjoying these videos, but please, everyone, be careful. Be safe out there. And I do want to say, you know what scares Mile High up here in this treacherous terrain more than baby heads and deep sand? Nope, it's not rattlesnakes. It's power lines. I have like a phobia of these things. Like I could just see an arc coming down, you know, for these power lines. And some of them, you can actually hear them crackle. I don't really hear it on this one. And I've been in the mountains before where it's a lot closer, you know, like I've been in a Jeep and I get really close to these power lines. But it's kind of funny, when I was dismounting, I was like keeping my head down, you know, and I was trying to stay lower than the bike. This might be silly, but, you know, I respect those power lines. So anyway, here's one last view, and we'll head down the hill. Okay, so now that we're back down the mesa, and I still have another section to go down, it's pretty steep. But this section here is really steep. So this is a good spot to talk about downhill descent. So I think the biggest thing is, one, keep your head up, watch for the best line, watch out for rollers, loose gravel. So you're basically picking a line as you come downhill. And two, you don't want to get out of control. You don't want to pick up so much speed, because, you know, this is a big heavy bike. It's 460 pounds, and then you add, you know, 270, depending on how many brats I've had a Mile High, and that's quite a bit of weight coming down. But these tires do great. They hook up just fine. But the key is you want to maintain control as you descend. And I don't know if the camera does it justice, but this thing is steep, man. This is a steep hill, and it's got rocky baby heads and sand pits on it, and bare rock, which is actually, I prefer that because I can really hook up on that. But as I'm coming down, I'm applying rear brake and front brake almost evenly. Now, I've only got, you know, 2 fingers on my front brake. You don't want to lock it up. You don't want to wash out. So I actually apply probably a little more rear brake to the point, and this is something that's hard to read about and listen to. It's something you have to kind of do, is you brake to the point where right before you start to break loose. You don't want to start sliding down the hill. You don't want to get out of control and slide down the hill. So even braking front and rear. You need both brakes, especially for a bike this heavy. And the key is, don't let it run away from you in the first place. So, and you can be too slow where you might topple over, right? If you lock up and stop, especially if you're on uneven terrain, then you could literally fall over, and you might fall in a direction where you can't put your foot down to hold the bike up, and then you're just gonna have to bail, right? And that's something else. I mean, luckily I haven't experienced it yet on this bike. But if you're gonna bail, it's like a muscle memory. Like, you got to decide when you're gonna bail. You don't want to get trapped underneath the bike. So if you go to tilt over and it's uneven and you can't reach the ground, then you got to just get off. You know, you don't want to be underneath there, and you want to watch your feet, watch your ankles. So, but the goal is to not be in that situation. The goal is to find a line and to brake. You can use engine braking depending on how steep it is. But like I say, this is a steep hill. This is a nose down hill situation. In this situation, clutches in, I'm on the rear and front brake, and I am controlling the descent. Coming down as slow as I can without being so slow that you're going to fall over, right? Just controlled descent. You know, it's just like if you're riding a mule down the hill, right? Like the mule would take very controlled steps in spots where it feels comfortable. It's not going to turn over its ankles. So that's the key to this steep, rocky, sandy descent, especially in, you know, the high desert of Colorado. So but we made it down safely. So the adventure continues. All right, guys, so this is where we'll end today's video. What a better place to test the sand capability of the KLR than the beach. But we will save that one for another time. Thanks for joining, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you'd like to see more. And as always, take care and ride safe. We'll see you in the next one.